not knowing the status of this killer and that he's still at large. And I just wanted to kind of let him know that, this police department, we're here for you. This department got a lot of scrutiny, a lot of criticism for not solving this case. And I wanted to let it be known that this department did a really phenomenal job with the members of the task force, working with my partner, Ray Tierney, really doing a great job of identifying our perpetrator and bringing him into custody.
Yeah, Commissioner, this case is 13 years old. You created the task force after you became police commissioner. What led you to the suspect and then ultimately, of course, making the arrest? Yeah, so, I got to give compliments, and I stated this in the press conference, to people that I worked with in the NYPD, Jimmy O'Neill, Dermot Shea, Bobby Boyce, investigators who really made sure we partnered up with all of our law enforcement officials. And that's something that I thought that was important when I came out here, to make sure that we had all of our agencies working together, making sure we're putting fresh eyes on the case and seeing what it is that we missed. What was something that we could do again and revisit things that might have happened in the past and just whatever technology and sciences we could use to go forward. And, it was great work by the men and women of the task force. I want to make sure I give a shout out to Detective Lieutenant Kevin Byra. Everybody should know his name. He was the person that oversaw the task force and really did a phenomenal job. And we know you have accused the suspect in 3 of the cases. There was talk of trying to tie him to a 4th, but now we're hearing that you're trying to tie him to all 10 victims in the area. What changed in the past 24 hours? Well, we're not necessarily looking to tie him. We're just trying to look to see if he was involved in the other ones. And that's just simple investigative techniques that we do in law enforcement. But the task force is going to remain intact. We're going to see if he's involved with the other deaths. And if not, then we'll continue to go after those that committed these crimes and hold them accountable. Commissioner Rodney Harrison of the Suffolk County Police Department, thank you so much for your work and for what you're doing and talking about it here on GMA. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you so much. All right, Janae.
All right, well, now to the urgent manhunt this morning for a man suspected of killing 4 people in a suburb south of Atlanta. ABC's Elwin Lopez has more from Hampton, Georgia.
Wherever you are, we will hunt you down in any hole that you may be residing in and bring you to custody, period.
Police in southwest Georgia on an urgent manhunt for 40-year-old Andre Longmore, suspected of shooting and killing 4 people.
He was running down the road and took a shot and then took off running out the neighborhood, and that's the last we seen of him.
Hampton authorities say the suspect gunned down 3 men and a woman on Saturday morning. Authorities say the 4 victims were killed in different locations throughout the subdivision, but in close proximity to one another.
This is a sad day in Hampton. It's not normal for us.
This morning, the suspected gunman still at large, and authorities in Hampton issuing a stark warning: avoid the area, and if you spot the suspect, do not approach him.
And guys, the police chief here telling our affiliate WSB that this all started with an attempted carjacking. As of right now, there's a $10,000 reward for any information leading to the suspect's arrest. Janae?
Elwin, thank you. From that manhunt in Georgia now to the manhunt in Pennsylvania and the murder suspect who escaped from a Pennsylvania jail. Michael Burham, he's been captured after a 9-day manhunt. Burham, described by police as a self-taught survivalist, was arrested after he broke out of jail using a rope made of bed sheets. He was being held on $1 million bail, facing kidnapping and burglary charges. He's also a suspect in a homicide investigation.
Janae, now to the 2024 presidential campaign. With the Iowa caucuses less than 6 months away and fundraising figures are giving us a clearer picture of where the Republican candidates stand. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is in Washington with the latest. Mary Alice, good morning.
Yeah, well, good morning. Some pretty big headlines out of these reports that the campaigns had to file overnight. We learned that Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had really been burning through cash and relying heavily on big dollar donors. His team now says he's planning to really shake up his campaign, already planning to lay off about a dozen staffers and more changes to come. His team reported that he raised about $20 million in these first 6 weeks since he launched his campaign, but spent $8, and that he had a staff of 90 people. Governor Chris Christie, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, on the other end of the spectrum, raised about $1.6 million, but a third of that from small dollar donors. Now, the Trump campaign raising big sums, over $15 million to the campaign. Interesting, though, his team has been doing a lot of moving money around between different committees and PACs, some of which, not only his campaign, are paying some of his legal fees. Whit.
And Mary Alice, former Vice President Mike Pence reporting some very low fundraising numbers. What could this mean for his campaign?
Yeah, pretty low. His team reporting that he only raised just over $1 million. You know, I asked him a few days ago how he was doing. He argued that he got into the race late and still has time. But remember, all these candidates also have to show that they have 40,000 unique donors in order to qualify for that first debate next month.
Yeah, that is critical. Mary Alice, thank you. And tune into This Week later on this morning. George Stephanopoulos interviews Republican presidential candidate Chris Christie as the GOP field races to make it to the stage of the first Republican debate. Plus, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan joins George to discuss President Biden's recent trip to Europe for the NATO summit. Gio?
All right, Whit. AAA now is the latest insurer to limit its coverage for some homeowners in Florida because of natural disasters. The company saying it won't renew what it calls high exposure homeowner policies due to last year's devastating Hurricane Ian. More than a dozen insurers have stopped writing new policies. California homeowners are running into similar problems. Allstate and State Farm have announced that they won't accept new homeowner policies there because of the skyrocketing costs, blamed in part on the increase in catastrophic wildfires. Just an incredible situation.
Sure is. All right, let's get a check of the forecast again. Go back to Samara Theodore in Phoenix. Samara, we've been talking about the heat across the country, but also flash flooding now in the Northeast again.
So it's not just the heat. We're also tracking the threat for severe weather, particularly in the Northeast, where we could see damaging winds and a few tornadoes are possible. The more robust storms really impacting New England and parts of the New York tri-state area. There we have the threat for flooding. We could see flash flooding. We have warnings up and down the East Coast from areas like the Mid-Atlantic into Maine. We have flood watches as heavy rain moves through. In fact, there's one area from New Jersey up into Massachusetts and right on into New Hampshire and Vermont. They have a moderate risk for flash flooding. Let's time this out. The heaviest of the rain is moving through Sunday morning. That's when we see a lot of the potential for flooding setting up. By the afternoon, it starts to wane, and by this evening, really clearing up. We're going to keep a close eye, though, tomorrow, where we could see some rain moving into Pennsylvania tomorrow afternoon, and heavy rain expected in areas like Connecticut and Boston. That's a look at the weather across the country. Let's see what's going on a little closer to home.
Good morning. Our temperatures today are going to top out in the upper 70s to lower 80s, so we're not going to get to the 90s today like we did on Saturday. 68 in Aberdeen, you got 72 for Bellingham, 82 for Seattle, and 81 in Centralia. Here's your extended Como forecast, and tomorrow morning could be a few sprinkles out there thanks to some marine air that moves in overnight. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, bringing back the sunshine, bringing back temperatures in the 80s, and no rain in sight through next weekend.
Said areas in the Northeast received so much rain in the previous rounds that we are concerned about the potential for flooding in areas like Vermont and New Hampshire.
Oh, and some of those areas already hit do not need that. Yeah. Samara, thank you so much. We'll check back in with you in a bit. Now to the American craftspeople who are helping rebuild one of Europe's most famous landmarks 4 years after a devastating fire. ABC's Inez de la Cotara joins us live from Notre Dame in Paris. Inez, it is always beautiful to see you live from Paris. Good morning.
Good morning, Janae. And you can see restoration work here is well underway. Believe it or not, American carpenters are part of the effort to rebuild one of the world's most iconic cathedrals.
It's almost like going back in time. At this workshop in Normandy, close to 24 carpenters hard at work rebuilding the famed roof of the Notre Dame Cathedral. Among them, American carpenters with the rare skills needed for this type of work, like Will Gusakov, who packed up and moved to France 6 months ago to lend a hand.
It's still kind of surreal, even after having worked here for 6 months, that I'm participating in something like this.
To pay tribute to the original builders, they're using techniques pioneered over 800 years ago, nearly all of the work being done by hand. When it comes to the nave, no nails are being used at all, each piece being cut to join the next, like a giant puzzle. It's been 4 years since the cathedral was engulfed by a fire. Investigators believe it was started either by a short circuit or a cigarette. Our David Muir given exclusive access to view the aftermath.
You can see the historical altar here in the cathedral is intact. It was saved here behind me, despite the fact that right over my shoulder you can see part of the spire here. On the floor of the cathedral.
Now, after months of labor, parts of the nave transported to Notre Dame earlier this week. A crane lifting up those massive pieces into the Parisian sky. These Americans now headed back to the U.S., but some vowing to return to see the storied cathedral reopen.
To be able to take part and contribute from the U.S. and kind of lend a hand internationally for a building that means so much to so many people around the world is a real honor.
And the cathedral won't be finished in time for the upcoming Paris Summer Olympics, but it is set to reopen in December of 2024. Guys?
Yeah, just incredible images, and to see that American there working on that. Thank you so much,
Inez has a good gig.
Yes, she does. Absolutely.
Nice view this morning.
Yeah.
Still ahead here on GMA, the update on the disappearance of an Alabama woman and the new questions now that she's been found.
And so-called crime tourists. The new warning this morning about people traveling to the U.S. specifically to steal.
And top moments from last night's WNBA All-Star Game. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Makes it look so easy from 3.
It's not too late to show Summer who's boss. And Wayfair's got just what you need. They have all the top grills and gear with smoking fast shipping. And Wayfair deals so epic, you'll feel like a big deal. So get outdoorsy for way less at Wayfair.
Wayfair, you've got just what I need. HGTV is going all in for the biggest build of all playtime. A real life-size Barbie dream house that you can really live in.
Barbie Dream House Challenge on HGTV.
What will you do when the power goes out? Power outages can be unpredictable and inconvenient. But with a Generac home standby generator, your life goes on uninterrupted because you'll have power when you need it the most.
With the Generac, it powers our well, our refrigerator, and my CPAP machine, which are all things that we need to survive on a day-to-day basis.
Get the security and peace of mind your family deserves with a home standby generator from Generac. 8 out of 10 home generators are Generac, with thousands of satisfied customers.
It's a peace of mind to get the Generac generator. That was the best investment that we could have ever made.
Prices start at just $19.99, and owning a generator is easier than ever. Special financing is available with low monthly payment options. Act now, and you will also receive a free 7-year warranty valued at $735. Call or go online now to request your free quote.
As I was saying earlier in the meeting, hey Sharon, do you know Triscuit is crunchy on the outside, yet incredibly wholesome on the inside, just like me.
You forgot salty.
I'm not salty. Triscuit, unapologetically wholesome.
A single strand of mRNA could individualize how we approach cancer. And the company that's getting us there? Moderna. This changes everything.
Look, Steph, I got an instant online offer on my car from CarMax in under 2 minutes.
Well, I got an instanter offer on my car, even faster.
Instanter? That's not a thing.
It is.
Not even a word.
I think you get instanter offers when you've had 9 All-Star appearances.
13.
Sure.
That must mean I got an instanter offerer.
Well, I got an instanter offer.
Let it go, Steph.
Your record label is taking off, but so is your sound engineer. You need to hire.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Indeed Instant Match instantly delivers quality candidates matching your job description. Visit Indeed.com/hire.
Crab Fest is back at Red Lobster. When you can choose your crab and one of 3 new flavors like honey sriracha, this is not your grandpa's Crab Fest. Unless grandpa's got flavor. Damn! Crab Fest is here for a limited time. Welcome to fun dining.
Where Americans choose ABC News, America's #1.
You want to know what inspires me? Take a look at my heroes. They raise our spirits and lift our hearts and pepper the Northwest with just the right amount of goodness. It's an awesome feeling. Join me Wednesday at 6 for Eric's Heroes.
Temperatures are heating up. The Como forecast team is tracking hot weather.
For the rest of the commute, keep the sunglasses handy.
Find out when temperatures will peak and when we'll see relief. For the most accurate forecasts in the Northwest, turn to the Como forecast team, only on Como News.
Even though some things are far away, we plan for them ahead of time because they're important. When it comes to your celebration of life, it's really no different. You want to plan ahead now so your family doesn't have to later, and create a service that reflects your values, character, and traditions, no matter what they may be. At Dignity Memorial, we listen to every detail and make sure everyone is remembered.
Good morning, I'm Lee Stahl. A newly released statewide crime report reveals homicides continue to climb in Washington. That report says 394 people were killed in 2022. The year before, it was 325. That's nearly a 17% increase. During the same time, robberies went up 18%, while vehicle theft increased by 34%. According to the report, there are also fewer police officers to respond to those crimes. It says in 2021, we saw 500 fewer officers statewide than we did the year before. Seeing a lot of sunshine yet again this morning.
Yeah, sunny skies, but not as hot as we were on Saturday, which will be better for getting outside if you're uncomfortable in the heat. 82 in Olympia, 81 for Shelton today, 83 in Olympia, and your extended Como forecast. More sunshine tomorrow after some morning sprinkles possible, then full-on sun Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and even into next weekend.
With over 50 million Toyota Corollas sold, it seems like we built one for everybody. And now we have. We built this one to be so dependable that it's often passed down within the family. We built this one to get 50 mpg and available all-wheel drive. This one for its handling and easy parking. This SUV for your next big adventure. And we built this one just for the fun of it. Introducing the 300 horsepower GR Corolla. Now there is